Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and its valuations against the US dollar. Remember, if you do like this video and the other videos that I make on this channel, be sure to hit the like button down below and also consider subscribing. Bitcoin is down, and much like the rest of the market, it is down 5% against the US dollar. And when we flip it on the daily, if we look at if we revert it back to the weekly, you don't see much price action, obviously, because we're still in the week, but we're still up 5% and a quarter percent for the week, and higher than where we left off last week. So, if anything, you can look at that in a positive light. But on the daily, it seems like we've gotten rejected at this level here, within the top band here, and we're coming back on our way down. So the question is maybe not necessarily, are we going to break, or are we going to get up to the 20 week anytime soon? Um, but it could be that we're just coming back down to these valuations again, potentially even breaking further down. Um, for Bitcoin, it, if this price action continues, if we stay in this area for a longer period of time, then the 20-week moving average is most definitely going to come back down in a hurry, as we already see with the 20 day, and we can add the 20 week on the daily, which is now represented by the white line, and the teal line is the 20 day. So this will start coming back down eventually, and it will come back down in a hurry, much like what we see with the 20 day right now. The 20 day is at $43,914. And on this trajectory, it would be reaching, it would be reaching the top of this region here by June 1st, so by next week. Obviously, this isn't something that's something new, at least in recent days. And for Bitcoin, honestly, it's really just kind of waiting and seeing. We're still in the second week, or I guess you want to say third week of this dump, if you want to call the week of May 10th, the week that started all of this. Um, and then obviously the following week, and this week we still have very little data to show to kind of have an estimate on what Bitcoin wants to do at the moment. If we're able to, like, I can paint a picture here, like, if we're able to hold this region here for the week, and in fact maybe if we even stay green the following week, if this is green, if that is green, then we can assume that at least on the weekly time scale, we're slowly moving our way back up, and towards the 20-week moving average, which kind of plays into the idea that it's going to take a hot minute for Bitcoin to get back to the 20-week moving average at the very least. What we talked about last video is potentially how long it would take. We looked at every single time Bitcoin broke below the 20-week moving average, and then measured it, on in terms of date, how long it would take for it to rally back up to the 20-week moving average. Now, it didn't matter if it got rejected or broke it. The fact of the matter is that it takes somewhere between 2 weeks to 50 days, to get some kind of test of the 20-week moving average from the bottom of it, from underneath it. So, if anything, this goes to show this is probably going to take longer than people expect, and people might not like that. But in my perspective, it's fine. Like, I'm willing to wait it out. It's not like I'm going anywhere. Let Bitcoin do what it wants to do. We already know, or at least I believe that this cycle is going to take longer than the rest. And you can do a simple date range on TradingView, and just measure from bottom to peak on the length, and you can already see that this is getting pretty long anyway. So with that said, um, everything gets stretched out. And so potentially the test of the 20-week moving average could take longer, and the rally that will get us back above the 20-week moving average will take longer. So we don't know exactly how long it will take, but we'll be here every step of the way, or at least I will. With that said, um, if Bitcoin uh, has a different scenario. Say we continue to move down. Maybe next week we see a red candle, and the following week another red candle, and so the trend is still going down. Then we could start talking about potentially breaking this region here and seeing some lower valuations, right? We can just take a look at some instances of like maybe the 50 week, for example, or the 100 week is another example. And when we look at these moving averages over time, they don't really necessarily have any significant um, support regions. We could see one here for the 50 week, but it ultimately broke down. We see this test of the 50 week here, of the 100 week here, and that was after a rally breaking above the 50 week and most likely the 20 week. I can throw up another indicator here. Unfortunately, I do not have uh, the paid version, so I'm kind of limited on how many indicators I can have, but we can at least have three moving averages on the chart. And I'll we change this to red. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, so for this instance, we can see that Bitcoin rallied, broke the 20 week and the 50 week, and ultimately the 100 week, and came back down and made support here, and then continuing along with the 20 week moving average, so on and so forth. So obviously, we don't necessarily see any major instances of a 50 week or 100 week test, but it's something to look to when we're coming back down, right? When we're coming back down, we can assume, okay, this might be a support region, this might be a support region. Another I guess instance of a major support region would be the 200 week moving average, which is highlighted in blue now, in teal. We know that this is the bottom of the bear market, where we see these support regions here and here. It usually indicates the end of the bear, like the reversal of the bear market. Now, I really doubt that Bitcoin this time around is going to come to the 200 week moving average. And just for reference, the 200 week moving average is currently at 12,752. I mean, if this is the case, then it's hard to kind of expect um, a bull run to continue on, or like it to me, getting to the 200 week moving averages is caused by extreme, or either an extremely long bear market that drags us back down, right? Drags us back down to the 200 week moving average, or a black swan event like what we suffered just over a year ago. Odds are another um, black swan event is extremely unlikely. I think, at least I think so. Um, the probabilities of that are very low, but they're never zero. Just putting it out there. However, um, we could see one potential is just a very slow bleed to the 200 week moving average. Like, this is obviously going to continue on up, and then we can continue to bleed, and maybe it's not to $12,000, but more so maybe to $20,000, and that could be kind of a realistic scenario where I can see Bitcoin coming down to the 200 week moving average. The bleed is very slow. 200 week moving average continues to increase because it's being replaced. These upper candles are replacing the lower candles, or down here underneath $10,000, $20,000. So obviously the moving average is going to increase over time, and that could be a scenario for Bitcoin, but that is a far ways away off. The obviously the first target would be, if we do break that region, is the 50 week moving average in white. That would be the first, that would be the first average in mind if we were to break further down. The current price of the 50 week moving average is 28,315. I mean, technically, like that's just a $2,000 difference from the week from last week. So it's not very much hard to believe that we could come back down to that level. And I think in this position, folks, that um, we just need more data. We need to see what Bitcoin will do. Will it hold this region? Are we just going to go sideways? In which case, that's a very good outcome, right? If we take away the scenario that Bitcoin's going to have a V-shaped recovery, at the very least, we can have a sideways moving Bitcoin. At the very least. But that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.